Hello everybody and welcome. In this video we'll be playing in the Seesaw seasonal event. In this mode, at the end of every turn, every unit that is on even power will be boosted by 1, and every unit on odd power will be damaged by 1. And so we'll want to try and keep our units on even power at the end of our turn, and have our opponent's units on odd power if we're going to take full advantage of this mode's effects. And the important point to remember about this mode is that the Seesaw effect is the first effect applied at the end of the turn, i.e. before bleeding, before a unit's ability is processed, etc. So whatever power a unit is on when you pass or end turn is what is going to count in this mode. For example, consider the Wild Hunt Hound. It will boost itself by 1 at the end of every turn. But at 3 power it is at odd power, and so first the Seesaw will reduce its power to 2, and then its effect will trigger, boosting it back up to 3. And essentially it will remain stuck at this number. Alternatively, consider the Apiarian Phantom. It also boosts itself at the end of the turn, but it is 4 power, and so the Seesaw will first boost it to 5, and then its ability will trigger and it'll boost itself to 6. So basically, just remember the Seesaw effect does go first, and you'll find this event a lot easier to play. Now this is probably the most complex mode to play, as points will fluctuate a lot at the turn end. And the other critical point about this mode is about when you pass. And the biggest misplays in this event arise because players have not accounted for the Seesaw effects. And remember, even if you are ahead, when you pass, your score may not be the same. And if you're considering playing one more card after your opponent has passed, remember they will be affected by the Seesaw once, and you twice. And so your score after having played your card will be what you're left with after you pass next. And your opponent's score will change depending on their number of even and odd units. So, always take the time to count the number of even and odd units on either side of the board to see how the score will change before passing or playing. After all, it may be possible to win by simply passing and allowing the Seesaw to take effect. Anyway, let's see the deck we'll be using in this video. So, here's the deck we'll be using. In the Seesaw event, allied units on even power will be boosted at the end of our turn, and those on odd power will be damaged at the end of our turn. Now, this Northern Realms deck combines a good deal of boosting in order to keep our units on even power, with numerous damage pings which keep our opponent's units on odd power, thereby controlling the effects of the Seesaw. And we'll start with our leader ability, Royal Inspiration, and every 2 turns this will allow us to boost one of our units by 1. And this is incredibly powerful in this event, as it means we can repeatedly correct our units throughout the match. And consider, if an ally is on 3 power at the end of the turn, it will be reduced to 2 power. But if we boost it with this ability, it will instead be boosted to 5 power at the end of the turn. And so by changing an odd power to an even, we are effectively boosting a unit by 3 with each usage of this ability. And we'll start by looking at a few of our boosting units, the first being the Karak City Guard, and she'll boost herself by 1 every turn until her order is used. And she does start at odd power, but with one use of our leader ability she'll be on 4 power, at which point she will function as a 2-point engine until her order is used or she is damaged. We also have the Temerian Drummer, and he'll boost the unit to his right every turn. And so if we place him beside a unit on even power, that unit will remain on even power and be boosted by 2 every turn. Similarly, we have Egmont, and who functions just like the Drummer, although he also has an order ability which will allow him to damage an enemy unit by 3. And also Anna Stringer, she'll also boost the unit to her right, although if inspired she will also boost the unit to her left, and because she starts at 4 power, Seesaw will first boost her, and she'll be inspired on the turn that she's played. And we look to place Anna to the right of the Drummer or Egmont, and that way they can keep each other on even power, and we won't need to worry about them. And for more immediate benefits, we look to Nenike, and she has 4 charges which she can use to boost units. And like our leader ability, each charge will effectively be a boost of 3 in this mode, so she's quite powerful here. But by far the strongest card is Visigotta of Corvo, as he can also boost units by 1, but he gains charges whenever either player plays a card. And Visigotta is one of our win conditions. If he's not answered by our opponent, we can very easily win in this mode. And so what we'd look to do with these units before we pass is to use our leader ability, Visigotta or Nanake to get all of our units on even power so the Seesaw effect can boost them again. Now, onto our offensive options. The Griffin Witcher can damage an enemy unit by 1 every turn, as can the Reinforced Ballista. And note that Ballista does have the formation ability, and so we have a choice whether we want to play in the melee row, so it's immediately put into action, although that would leave it an odd power, so it's damaged by the Seesaw effect. Or we could play it in the ranged row, in which case we boosted first, and this may just depend on whether we have our leader ability ready for use. And the Redanian Archer can also damage a unit by 1 for every one of its charges, and he'll gain charges at the end of our turn until he loses his armor. And the big advantage of the Archer over the previous two is that we can store charges with him and use them when needed. And his armor will also absorb the first 2 pings from the Seesaw event, but this is not desirable as it will also mean he no longer gains charges. Our other damage engine is Black Rayla, and she'll do 1 or 2 damage depending on whether she's inspired. As she does have odd base power, we always start by boosting her on the turn she's played, and in this case she will always be inspired. And so the way we'll use these damage engines is to try and have several of our opponent's cards on odd power by the end of their turn. And if we can do 1 damage to an even power unit, and they cannot correct that, we are effectively doing 3 damage to that target. And for Rayla, we want to target units which are already at odd power. So, those are the core units in our deck. And basically, at the end of our turn, we look to have all of our units on even power, and all of our opponent's units on odd power. And this way we get boosted, and they get damaged. And we'll also use end of turn boosts on our side to keep our units on even power, so we don't need to worry about them. And personally, I find there's a lot of momentum in this event, and whomever goes first can really set the pace, and it's up to the other player to keep up. And because of this, I tend to rely on the boosting cards whenever I'm on red coin, first trying to protect myself from damage, and then playing the offensive cards. And if I'm on blue coin, I tend to lead with the offensive cards to put my opponent on the back foot. And I'll show you some examples in the video. So we'll just finish with a quick flip through the rest of this deck. And we use the tactical advantage stratagem here, because it will boost one of our units by an odd number. And so if we boost an odd power unit with this, it will actually play for 7 points in this event. And we have Amphibious Assault for tutoring units, and it's actually worth taking a moment to see how that boost will affect the various units. If you look at our 8s, they will be boosted on even power, the 7s will remain on even power, and the Griffin Witcher, Redanian Archer, and the Reinforced Ballista, if it's played in the ranged row, will also remain on even power. So in these cases, we won't need to fix those units being tutored through this card on the turn that they're played. And with Karathi Heatwave for dealing with some card, like a defender in the ranged row that will protect a card like Visigotta. And Queen Adalia, she can spawn and play a base copy of a Bronze Northern Realms unit from my hand and give it shield. And I tend to want to give it to the Redanian Archer, as it makes it harder to remove his armor, and so it makes it easier for him to gain charges. Now, of course, this is situational, so it will depend on the state of play. And Igni is another form of removal in this mode, and it will destroy multiple units of the highest power on an enemy row. So we can use our damage pings to set this up, or Visigotta, who can boost enemy units as well as allies. And do note that doing so, using orders will violate the initiative condition, so the row must have 35 or more power if we play or use orders first. And we have Donomir of Troy as our defender, and we'll use him to protect our ranged row so that Visigotta and our archers are safe. And particularly, if we do have round control, we do want to lead with Donomir, then put Visigotta down after that, in order to set up our win condition. And the Mortals are quite an effective standalone card in this mode. When they're in the melee row, whenever they lose a shield, they'll be boosted by 2, and at the end of the turn, they'll reapply their shield. And so if they're at odd power at the end of the turn, they'll be hit by the Seesaw, lose their shield, gain 2 power, then reapply their shield, effectively turning them into a 2-point engine that we never need to worry about. And I usually find them quite effective to play if we're on red coin, especially if we expect to face a lot of damage from our opponent. With Margarita low and teal for locking, and Diamond Shackles for lock and damage. And keep in mind that in this mode basically every card in our deck is an engine, which might warrant a response from a card like this or Margarita. And we do only have a limited number of these, thus it's not possible to deal with all of them. Instead, save these cards for something truly problematic, like Visigotta. And the Trident Infantry is another defensive card, and he pairs quite nicely with boosting cards, as he will fire off random damage pings whenever he's boosted. And he can be useful when we're on the defense, although I tend not to use him if we're on blue coin, as his random damage pings can screw with the setup we're trying to run. Of course, he does however work quite well as a target of boosts from Visigotta, especially on our last turn. And if we are boosting him during our turn, we can still use controlled damage pings and target our enemies. Finally, with the K20 Sergeant, and his order ability is much like that of Nenike's or Visigotta's, allowing us to boost one of our units. And so this is the deck that I will be using in this video, although I will also say that a very powerful card to use in this event is Yrden, and you may wish to swap Adalia and the correct City Guard for another K20 Sergeant. Similarly, you may also wish to swap the Tactical Advantage with Ceremonial Dagger, as this will also play for 7 points in this event if you target an enemy on even power. So you do have options in this event that you may want to keep in mind. Anyway, as always, the link to the deck list is below in the video description. And now, let's see how this deck plays.
Impertinence is the one thing I cannot abide.
So many of them, I'd have to aim to miss.
Sometimes I've had about enough.
Hustle them! No other way!
I shall relieve them of all burdens.
They charging? Ah, sworn I'll stop him. Hair slick on Nightshade.
Will you banish us like you did Varax's father?
You best yield now! My great-granddaughter will do great things.
Left, right, left, right.
I know not if I should.
Any last words?
I'll defend the Duquesa to my dying breath.
I'm coming for you.
Again and again and again.
Any last words?
Drinking can be hazardous to your health.
Me? One never need ask me twice.
All these signs can mean but one thing.
Our time has come to claim victory!
I'll do what I can.
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
When I think of my father, I feel an urge to kill.
Wilhelm, you're daft! Stop it!
The wonders of projectiles and ranged weaponry.
Have a look at that. Like falling stars.
Accept our sacrifice!
Can't see it getting any better than this.
Burn the home! Fell the trees! Anything shiny! Plunder!
Human shoop say!
I'll show my mother she's wrong.
A golden dragon!
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
Are you wounded? Again?
So many of them, I'd have to aim to miss.
It's all right.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Be not afraid. This'll only hurt a bit.
Left.
Stand and fight!
Another battle, another entry in the Chronicles.
cellmate power.
They charging? Ah, Swarm will stop him.
Left, right, left, right.
Well, well, one white-haired freak to report.
Not your lucky day.
When one falls, another replaces him.
Awaiting your orders.
Let's get this over with.
I sense strong magic.
I'll gladly help, if I live to see it.
Will you banish us like you did Varaxis, father?
For Demavend!
Wilfred, get up! Wilfred!
Thank not me, thank my little lady.
Left, right, left, right.
What? This? From scratch? Try them!
A coat of arms is nothing you choose. Dare not mock mine.
Critical thinking, the sign of a healthy mind.
Ludafisk, give me some of that.
For king! For country! For freedom!
Not your lucky day.
Our time has come to claim victory!
Any last words?
For Demavend!
When one falls, another replaces him.
There are things in the universe of which even the sages have not
Again
dreamt.
and again and again.
Awaiting your orders.
never need ask me twice.
Oh, what wants you?
Another battle, another entry in the Chronicles.
Can't see it getting any better than this.
The dark, the silence.
Like an old fool.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Hand it to you. Good work.
Are you wounded? Again?
How can I help you?
None of it!
For honor. And for coin. Army's a waste of time for one like me. Left, right, left, right.
Poker's red hot now. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Little cockle perched upon a fence.
To arms!
Nasty wounds, those. But you'll live.
With pleasure.
They charging? Ah, Swarm will stop them.
Temerian. That's what matters.
I'll gladly help, if I live to see it.
coat of arms is nothing you choose. Dare not mock mine.
Bribe me, dimwit. You're supposed to bribe me.
Another battle, another entry in the Chronicles.
For Lyria and Rivia!
The sky'll burn with the eternal fire!
We've no faces, we've no hearts.
No fool like an old fool.
As you wish.
Fall overboard and I'm not jumping in after you.
Not your lucky day.
With pleasure.
Well, I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. As always, the link to the deck is in the video description. If you have questions about specific card choices, possible changes and improvements to the deck, feel free to leave a comment below the video and I'll respond to it when I can. Until next time,